Welcome to MrClaff.com's quick review of the DBQ and LEQ rubrics, brought to you by Noble Review, concise review books. This is MrClaff.com. There are review sheets, free flashcards, anything that you could possibly want for AP World, AP US, AP Gov. You just click on the term and it brings you to one of my flashcards here, which will oftentimes have a quick video to go along with it. But that's not why you're here. You're here for the DBQ rubric, which changed in 2024. That's right, for the 2024 AP exams in AP Euro, AP World, AP US History. It is a new rubric, very similar to the old one, but let's talk about it and let's get through this quick. So first of all, you need to have a thesis. The thesis is the argument. Assuming that this area over here is your introduction, you need to put the thesis as the last sentence of the first paragraph. It doesn't have to be there. You could actually put it in the conclusion. However, most people are going to be looking at that spot. So please, please, please make the thesis clear wherever you put it. The thesis cannot just restate the prompt. It says it over here, okay? You cannot just restate or rephrase the prompt. It must be something that is unique. It certainly has to be an argument. The thesis, in my opinion, a good way to do this is to have a statement that starts with the word although there was great change due to blank overall, something such as, it could be anything from people, it could be anything from unions, continue to lose rights throughout the 19th century. Make sure that you have a clear thesis that argues something, because the point of your entire essay is to carry out that thesis through all paragraphs that you have. When you're dealing with context, context is the second point. The context cannot be just a few words. You can put the context in the introduction, and when you do, make sure you use their terminology. Make sure you put the word context right there. To put this time period into context, one must understand blank. Context deals with, and you can see it right here, the broader historical events, the developments, stuff that happened before. It could be happening during, it can be continuing over time. For example, if you have a DBQ on Latin American independence movements, well, you could show that the French Revolution and Enlightenment happened before that and it's continuing. If you have a DBQ on the Progressive Era, you could talk about populism before that, as well as the Gilded Age. So make sure this context point is clear. Write a few sentences. Go overboard if you have to. The context point is easy to get, but a lot of people don't get it because they want to just jump right into the documents. Let's talk about those documents. You cannot just copy them and summarize them. You need to use them for your argument. So if you just say, well, there's Abraham Lincoln talking about this and that, it's not going to cut it. To get the 2 points, you don't want just one, you want the 2 points right here. They have to relate to your argument, and you must do this for at least 4 of the 7 documents. It used to be 6, it is now 4. So you have more time to go about a thorough analysis of the documents and use that to show how it helps your argument. If you don't show the argument part, that's a problem. So the way we get to this 2-point item here about supporting your argument, a very interesting way to do it is to make sure that you are using topic and concluding sentences. So when your new body paragraph starts, and let's assume right here where document A is, you have your topic sentence before that, talking about how there was great change, but there was overall more continuity. Put it on the onset and put it at the end of it. Show me that concluding sentence, how it relates back to the thesis. All of that is key to carry out the argument. We're not in the business of summarizing, we're in the business of analyzing. As we go through this, we need to talk about, before we get to evidence beyond the documents, I want to talk about down here. This point has confused people. They say, well, how do I do it? I just put in my purpose. It's more than that. It used to be for 4 documents, and now it's for 2 documents. You need to show how your point of view, the purpose, the historical situation, and or the audience is relevant to the argument. So you can't just say, well, the purpose of the speech is this. No, no, no. You want to, after, right here, after you do your analysis of the document, and perhaps after you put in your outside information, which we'll talk about, you put in a sentence. The purpose of the speech was this. This further proves the argument of whatever you're arguing because of X, Y, and Z. If you just say the purpose of the speech is this, it doesn't get the point, because remember, it has to relate back to, right here, the argument. Why is that document relevant to the argument, okay? Why does it help prove it? Use this way to do it. I mean, you can reword it other ways, but you want to make sure it's clear and make sure you have the argument. A couple more points to go. We're moving quickly. You have the evidence beyond the documents. This is your outside information. It should not be the same as your context. OI, or outside information, you could put it right here, right next to your document before the purpose stuff. And I recommend for students, go through every document and see if you can come up with a piece of evidence for every single document. Reason being, if you look at the rubric here and what we call the unicorn point, one way to do that is to be very thorough, it's around here, hold on, to complex understanding right here. That could do it. The more you show, the more you know. That is one way to do it. So I'm a big fan of going overboard when it comes to the outside information. So we did thesis, carrying out the thesis, the context, the HAPP, historical situation, audience, purpose, point of view. This is the point that changed the most. What they used to call the unicorn point, because very few people got it, now is pretty clear on how you do it. Talking to students, they have told me the two easiest ways to do it is right here, the 4 documents for the HAP instead of the 2, or the 7 documents instead of the 4. This is probably the most time-consuming way, or I should say the least time-consuming way to do it. 4 documents instead of 2. That's actually what the old rubric was. The other ways to get this, if you have our thesis at the onset, I said, although there was change, there was continuity, by showing multiple continuities and changes, if you keep that theme going of showing continuity and change, showing both cause and effect, similarity and difference. This is similar to the old rubric. That is a way to do it. Explaining relevant, insightful connections across the time. You should do this. If you do it, it should be complex, like in every paragraph, to make sure that it's clear how you're relating, perhaps Reconstruction to the Civil Rights era. That's a way to do it. The great rule of thumb is it's not quality, it's quantity and quality of your writing. You have to show depth. If you are not deep in what you write, there isn't enough to substantiate the rubric. So the biggest tip I have is study the right things and show all you know. So that's the 7 points on the DBQ. For the LEQ, you're dealing with 6 points instead of 7, but it's very similar to what you saw with the DBQ. You have the thesis that you must carry out. Obviously, you cannot just copy the claim. Context. Same idea. To put this into context, explain it for several sentences. On evidence, the argument right here must be supported by at least 2 pieces of relevant evidence. Clearly, you're going to want to go overboard on that, because one of the ways that you can get the unicorn point for complex understanding is having at least 4 documents. But here for the 2, just to get your 2 points right away. See the difference between this? Provides examples of evidence. This one here supports the argument. So people say, well, what's the difference between 1 and 2? This one supports the argument. This one is 1. Same with the DBQ. If you don't support the argument, you're never getting the maximum of points. Finally, you have complex understanding. This one here, you could see the difference. This one uses, some reasoning. This one is what complex understanding is, okay? For the first point, it just, it tells you right here, use your reasoning, and you're writing about history. The complexity point, the second one, you have all of these choices, similar to what we said before. If you do both similarity and difference, if you do continuity and change and cause and effect, okay, like we talked about with the DBQ. Another way to do it down here is to go overboard on your evidence, double the evidence, so 4 examples of why your argument is being proven. All in all, You have 7 points DBQ, 6 points LEQ. Remember, for more review, you can go to MrClaff.com to get free flashcards and review sheets. And just make sure you don't wait till the last minute. I know a lot of you are watching this video at the last minute. Best of luck on your test.